recovers. The great point Dinko brought up is it'll be an interesting thing to see where these guys actually choose to start.
Yeah, that's true. I think the thing that we have to sort of caveat a little bit with like the teams that they've been playing against. Sure, Bren, like it wasn't as clean as we would have liked. Like they should have probably just battered Bren. But you
Yeah.
look at Tyloo, statistically, Inferno's their best map. Invictus, it's their constant map choice, their most played map. Checkmate, it's the one map that we know that they can play well. So obviously they've lost it a few times throughout this tournament, but I would say they've lost it to three teams that are almost overly happy to play this map. So
Yeah.
I'm more interested to see how ViCi are going to cope with this because they are up the top four teams. I would probably put them as the weakest Inferno team, and that's not really like that harsh a statement. I think they've also lost to Checkmate in this tournament. They lose to Tyloo on it on a regular basis. I guess maybe there's more arguments that they beat Invictus, but I guess if you were going to ask Invictus, like they're going to pick it every single time against them anyway. So
Mhm.
it's much of a muchness. So I want to see how ViCi are actually going to perform on this map because I don't think it's necessarily a home map considering the maps that they currently have within their pool. Like if I was going to go in order, maybe I put this as a like a fourth map, maybe even further down than that because they're one of the only teams that enjoy playing Vertigo. They're very good at Train. They're very good at Nuke.
Mhm.
Even Mirage statistically is a better map for them, but I would say that Inferno is more of a 50-50 map in general when it comes to teams. So for a pick, it's like picking Dust 2 in a sense. Like it makes me a little bit uncomfortable. Everybody knows how to play it. I think a lot of the time it comes down to whether or not your players are performing. And thus far, we've seen weak performances from Advent and a very, very slow start from Zoking in the first map. So I think they need to go off to a flying start here. And having a close loss like they just did with ultimately, in my eyes, the loss coming off their own bat. Like they
Mhm.
lost silly after plant situations. They lost a 1v2 in the pistol round. They then lost a follow-up round to that. They lost a 2v2 where the player had 4 seconds to plant the bomb and the other player had to 180 headshot someone to win the round. Like, if anything for me, ViCi lost that last map.
Mhm.
Now, that can either play into a strength where they're like, we should have won that one. Let's go win this one. It's our map choice now. Or as a weakness in the sense of we threw that game away. Now we have one more chance. Otherwise, well, it's going to be them heading into the upper bracket and we have to beat Invictus just to survive.
I will say that ViCi's Inferno, though, you have to look at the losses they've got. They've lost once 16-2 to Tyloo. They've played Tyloo 5 times on this map. And other than that, they have only lost 16-14 or overtime. They've never been
Yep.
smashed out. It's not like they're a terrible team by any means, even if you look at that
Oh,
win
no, for
rate.
sure.
You have to take into consideration, they're one pistol round away from a win. They're one buy round away from a win. Like, they're right on the heels of their opponents every single time if they're not winning. And that's certainly a positive sign for them. Now, Tiger have opted to start CT side. As I said, their average is, I think, 7 rounds. It's weak. They do not have a good CT side on this map, and we need to see them show up.
Well, I think I wanted to see the T side start for Tiger. Tiger didn't listen to their biggest fan in this situation. Zoking's going to get the entry and then shoot at a wall for a little bit. He doesn't like the plant pots, it seems, as there was nobody actually in that corner. But nonetheless, with the 4-man B stack in the initial stages, this is not going to be an easy retake. Now, this was something planned by Tiger. We've seen them go in with a hell of a lot of utility in these sort of rounds. And in fact, last time we saw them play this map, they went for an incendiary to try and go for a retake. This time, the nades are a little bit different. So this was all part of the plan. Dobu, he's managed to get quite far, but Jamyoung's coming in behind him. An instant trade for the initial pick, but Nine has already found another. The main problem is the time. They've got to get on this defusal, and now they need to deny it, and Jamyoung is just about going to be able to. Great pistol round from ViCi. They're not going to let Tiger get up to any of their tricks again after what was an unfortunate pistol loss in the last map. And while now the CT side, wouldn't be overly surprised to see them force here.
I wouldn't be too surprised. Yeah, I do like Tiger starting on the CT side. I feel like this is, you sort of take your worst half on the chin, and if you can at least get off to a good start, because I think a lot of teams, when it comes to, not really Inferno, but you look at like a Mirage, Dust 2, they'll start T side. Excuse me. Certainly, like Gamut Youngsters, I remember talking with Finn, and he was saying that that was something that they loved to do, was start on the attacking side of a lot of maps so that they could just get it out of the way and really control the pace from the start. As you said, like if you get a good T side on a lot of these maps, you've already won the game because you set the tone early on. And I think that's something that some teams will want to do. Now for Tiger starting CT, I don't know if it's I don't know which one it is. Are they playing safe? Or in their minds, are they taking their worst half off the bat and just dealing with it? I like the decision here to save, but I think more so if they didn't, they would be stupid. Retaking B with a Mag 7, it speaks for itself.
Yeah, it's something I've always been interested in. It's like, I feel like side starts as something that we talk about a lot as commentators, and I feel like there's a hell of a lot of teams that don't consider it at all.
Yeah.
Like, it's one of those things where we're like, oh, I wonder if the reason that they started the CT sign was because, and they just went, should we go CT, boys? And they go, yeah, let's go CT. Like, it's not something that I think there's always the thing of like, oh, you have to play both halves. Like, yeah, sure, there's importance of getting off to a good start. The other thing as well is I think one of the great successes almost of starting on the T side, especially in a first map, is if you go in a little bit cold. Normally, most maps within the pool are fairly CT-sided. So if you go in a bit cold, or maybe your opponent does, you can scrape out a few rounds that you wouldn't normally get. Then you go into the CT side, and you're already warmed up. I think that's one of the only real questions. But other than that, doesn't matter that much. Like, sure, on specific maps, you can be very bogged down by the end of the first half if you just get banged out. But realistically, this is Inferno. This is a map that has been played since the dawn of time. In fact, I'm pretty sure this map is older than Dinko. So, you know, that says it all. So, realistically, both these teams should be able to play both sides of the map.
This map's 15 years old?
Oh, it is Inferno. Inferno. Age? Yes.
It's gonna give you like Dante's Inferno.
First appearance in Counter-Strike 1.1.
Does it give a date?
No.
No, fantastic. Look up Counter-Strike 1.1 release date then.
Oh god, this is gonna send me down a rabbit hole, isn't it?
Yep. Pretty much, you're gonna see pictures of Banks pop up.
Yeah, when he was 35. 1.1 was 2001, the 13th of March, and then we go to Liquipedia. Go Dinko. This page does not exist. Oh, no, I'm kidding. September 2nd, 2000. So he's just older than the map Inferno.
He's a year older.
Oh, not even that.
Not even. By the way, so I want to just touch on this because I didn't get a chance to say, Tiger obviously just been smashed out this round. But in the previous pistol round,
He was 5 months old.
I really like the strategy that we saw from them. Because if you think about what happened last time they played this, as you said, Tom, they had the molly, right? They played retake B. One player there, Urcast, had a Molotov to just play for the retake. Now, this time, they stack up B. And I reckon the reason they've done that is because they think that some little smart boy like Advent will have watched that previous game and thought, oh, they might go for a retake B, boys. Should we rush B? But instead, Advent, well, he's 300 IQ'd them. And he's gone for the A site, where I'm sure he watched the demo. I'm sure he watched that previous game, knowing that they were going to pick this map. And the fact that they picked this over Nuke. They knew that they were going to be doing that from the start. And so I reckon he's probably watched that and went, let's run into their stack. Maybe realize they would play some mind games. It's a really interesting change up, though.
He's kept the Mag 7.
Yeah, so, well, he's survived with it, so why not keep it, hold down some apps control with it, although he's gone to Banana, interestingly.
He had $5,000, though.
I don't disagree with it. I mean, the weapon is definitely viable. The thing is, he was playing around his teammates on Banana, so he's like a supportive element. First man getting shot at, can deal some damage, get his teammates to trade, and maybe earn a bit of money, get some kills. Now he's rotating, though, and I think he has to get up to apps, and there's no way he plays from anywhere else.
Yeah, I think for me, just personally, when it comes down to bonus rounds, I want you to just have the best buy you could possibly be, because if ViCi win this round, they're set for like 3 or 4 rounds.
Yeah, definitely. I think that the logic here, keeping the 2.6k when you've got a viable weapon, is that if they lose this, they just take
They
one
can
eco and
still,
they've got an op
yeah,
out.
of course.
It does make sense, but I also do agree with you, Tom. I think for me personally, if I was coaching this team, I would probably say invest now. Just so you get that full buyout. You're all buying up at the same time, giving yourself the best chance to win the round and to stop ViCi's economy taking off, as you said. But I can definitely, I wouldn't be overly critical at that point.
Yeah, that's fair. Oh, they've tried to fake out the rotation. These smokes from Tiger have been absolutely flawless. They've held them for a very long time. There's still an incendiary for Urkus. I don't even know what ViCi are going to do here. Are they going to save? Or are they just going to go running into A? They're going to save. I don't think I've ever seen this before.
Certainly not an Asian Counter-Strike.
This is weird. This is unprecedented. It took so long for them to get anything done that in round 4 of all rounds, we have 9 players surviving. Okay.
That will happen sometimes if you lose a player on B and the CTs decide to save. But not usually the Ts without a bomb plant. It's odd. But they've managed to come into this one with a full investment. As you know, they had a lot of cash. It's a weird situation, Tom.
Yeah, they actually still have enough money in the next round to even buy up, and they've got an AWP in now. So it's probably the right decision with how much time was left. It's just weird to see. Especially within this region where normally at that point you'd see somebody run through a smoke and probably still win the round because he's an asshole. Either way, it is a new day, a new round, new life. At least for some of them, because most of them save. And while it is an early battle of utility for Banana Control, Urkus is going to take a little bit of a tag. Obviously having a very poor first map, but his team managed to get him over the line. Again, he's the B-site defender, one of the most integral players for this team. Always seems to end up in the most high-pressure roles on the map, but honestly, with the amount of experience and talent that he has, I don't mind that whatsoever. Now look at this free aggression from 9. He is getting tempted, you can tell, to take a bit of a risky peek, but their setup doesn't really allow for it. They're very, very passive, and Dobu's going to get domed. This is what we like to see from Zoking, and they're going to switch things up. They're going to run back towards the B, or at least initially they changed their mind, and I don't know if that baited a rotation slightly, but it seemed to. Cabal, are we about to see the greatest Mag 7 player of all time? That's one. He's retrieved the Galil because they will almost shotgun him out with the AWP instead.
Smacking him around there in that round. Looks like Dan King's on the server with all this skill. Because ViCi, now they are looking motivated to take down Tiger and bring us to a third map. And I appreciate it. The T side building up some good rounds. You give him one, you don't give him anything else. Now, with 2 weapons saved over, you're going to see Tiger in a position where they can still get a comfy enough buy. Cabal can buy himself. Urkas can drop over 1. NCL might be, well, he'll definitely be able to give a FAMAS over. Get himself some utility to work with alongside it. Well, he can even go for the M4, can't he? He's got his flash already, so yeah, you can get full utility alongside an M4 drop. They get an AWP in play. Benefit the loss bonus they had after losing the 3-1. And for ViCi, as we said, you know, it is a good start to the T side. They've got their foundations built, but there's still some more work to be done. If they close this one out, though, they'll get a massive reward. I mean, at that point, the foundation's already built completely. You've got the walls up. All you're missing is the roof. Built right to the top.
Well, the secondary AWP has been brought in, because we'll be banning this. It's one of the only maps that we really see him pulling up. The secondary AWP, Cabal and Dobu both pulling it in. Dobu's just been wrecked. That's 2 rounds in a row now that he's just been completely caught out. by what was a bit of an unnecessary play. It seemed like he wanted to try and gain some apartments control with an incendiary. 9 tries to make the trade, but the shoulder peek is enough to bait him back, and you can see Urkust is already going to be forced off the angle. Now they're just completely splitting the defense apart. I like this from ViCi. Just almost using very small amounts of utility to completely split this defense. And then they themselves, after taking banana control, are just going to walk their way back towards this A site. This is going to be a really tough hold from the side of Tiger.
Oh, what an aggressive push by 9, but he runs right back into the AWP of Kaze. Good reactions by ViCi to set up that AWP, to hold for the re-aggression. I suppose a fall back. Cabal! Great play. He knew Zoking was coming. He's trying to open up a little bit more, but can't get it done. And we're down to a 2v2. Tiger coming back out behind the smoke, and Alman, he's caught him just as the smoke dissipates.
Oh
the round falls apart for Tiger. ViCi Gaming, well, they've got 5 on the board now, facing into an eco of their opponents. This is tough.
That is one of the that I would say, in terms of like execution of a round by ViCi, I think that's one of the best rounds I've watched by a T side in this tournament. They got the opening pick, okay, fair enough. That was nice, but it was the way that they played with their opponents. They intentionally threw a few flashes up banana to take control of it, knowing that it was initially solo played. The second they do it, they know a rotation will have come in, so they put the pressure onto the A site. And while Cabal gave a damn good attempt at holding on, but that was almost flawless. And there have been very few rounds that I have spoken about positive executions, and I think the majority of them have gone to ViCi. So very well played. More of that, please. More of that. That was wonderful.
ViCi or checkmate usually is how it goes, which is odd.
Yeah, that's true, actually.
It's nice. It's what we like to see. Clean Counter-Strike, well thought out rounds, and altogether a well-deserved 5-1 start for ViCi. They come up against Deagles, CZs, and a P2 Fiddy. Not a whole lot that we expect from Tiger in this one. And I do respect the starting decision of going to the CT side. As I said, you know, get the tougher rounds out of the way. And that might seem odd if you're just tuning in and you don't know these teams. Like, why is he saying the tougher rounds? This map is CT-sided. Well, not for Tiger. Definitely not for Tiger. But they're getting their tougher half out of the way. At the same time, it's going to be hard to build on this if they don't find anything here, and that was not ideal. It's not the CZ fight that you want to see go down. Urkast not going to be traded. He actually spots nobody's towards top banana. I mean, that's alarm bells ringing, and he's on the rotate to A, but it is only 2 players versus 4 rifles, so... Well, it's only 1, because they've actually smoked off long. Even by the time Urkast gets here, it'll be too late. Dobu's good for a frag, but that's about all, and that's the end of the round. Okay, clean enough by ViCi. They lose 2 players, but fairly inconsequential.
I do like how decisive they are as well. Like, I don't think I think a lot of teams have beat themselves up with hesitation. Like, that they will make a decision to, like, go one way, then switch back, and then it causes for some pretty awkward rounds, whereas ViCi... It seems like whether it is Advent or maybe it's Zoking in these mid-round situations that's just making the call to switch things up. Whatever they decide, they go with it. And I think that's something that a lot of teams are missing at the moment. And, well, ViCi have got off to a flying start. Same time, though, they went 5-0 up on their T side of Train and then went on to lose, I think, 6 rounds in a row before a little bit of a back and forth to end up losing the map. So... Tiger have come back from this before, but it's more the fashion of which ViCi are doing this. It's almost like they're styling on their opponent. They are completely outplaying them at this point. And again, it's going to be another opener. 9 having a bit of a rough time. Just ended up being fairly decent in the last map, although slightly overshadowed by the opposing AWP Kaze, who had a phenomenal first half. Nice re-aggression from Dobu, though. He's also had a rough start to this map, but that refrag could be very valuable. Again, though, it's this same little play. A singular flashbang is all it takes, and that's the B-side players fully falling back. They almost seem to be playing a little bit too scared for my liking, if anything. And they've rotated a player over off that alone. One flash, one little push. That's a defense split once again. The push going to be coming through Urkus. He's not been checked for, and NCL makes a play through the smoke. Even still, though, Urkus needs to survive a little bit longer. Even just the kills he's got will not be enough to win them the round, and Orman is actually going to end up getting the kill. The spray through the smoke is close, but he's safe enough, and it still ends up in a 2v2 situation. Now, Orman's going to start getting aggressive around the edge of the smoke. The Molotov will be used to help them back, and now Kaze's going to be waiting. This man in position with an AWP is, well, probably one of the scariest things to face off against within this region. With Orman alongside him, he may be low, but this could easily be enough. Utility being expended. Now it's left all onto Kaze, and he whiffs. He doesn't connect this shot. Adobu with the comeback. The retake king returns, and it will be a triple for him as they get their second round.
Ooh, baby, it's a triple. And the second round, it's necessary. At this point, you would almost say Tiger need to win every round. I do think their T side, though, is pretty good here. I want to see them finish off on 7 or 8. 7 at a minimum. Anything barring that, and I mean, it's hard to imagine ViCi giving them that much space. As we said, this is a map where ViCi, at worst, seem to lose it in like 16-14 or overtime. And obviously, at best, they win it. With such a convincing start to the T side, there's a good chance that they come out on top on this one. Giving up all control down towards the bottom of Banana and middle, ViCi are looking for heavy apartments control. But Tiger, well, they've felt confident enough now to leave themselves into a solo B hold, with the aggressive position being held by 9. And that is going to then leave ViCi running into a stack.
Yeah, we'll see if this one works out for them. This is a hold that almost has to be kept by the CTs. If they lose this one, then I truly will be worried for them. Zoking just went running straight through the smoke. None of his teammates are with him. He went in solo. Orman has still managed to find a trade, and actually this grants them arch control. Now, if they spot nobody around this angle, they can still fall back and fall out of this round. They don't have to make an aggressive play into it. And without spotting any rotations, I do wonder if there will be a slight hesitation to try and fall back. Still, though, they've expended an awful lot of utility here. Dobu re-aggresses to at least try and find some information. And now the push begins once again. A second attempt at the same take. The crossfire's still there, but they slaughter them. That was 3 kills in less than a second. ViCi, they destroy the stack. It was a 4-man wait versus 4 players. And they managed to make it look easy. 9, no choice but to save. Mitch, this is now scary.
It certainly is, Tom. I mean, this was a round that Tiger needed, as you said. And with them losing this, the prospect of a good half is starting to seem pretty bleak. Good map pick by ViCi overall, as we knew it would be. Tiger, lucky they managed to close out that previous map of Train. Otherwise, they would really be sweating. Luckily, a loss here isn't the loss in the series. And even with that op saved, they're going to be hard-pressed to buy. They could go for a force-up around it. And on Inferno, it wouldn't be the worst of ideas. But considering how unsuccessful so many of these rounds have been so far with full rifles, I don't think the force buy is the way to go. At the same time, they're down 7-2 and need every round, so I can see arguments for it each way. I imagine we're just going to see pistols to flank this up. It'll take a little while to get there, though, because ViCi seemed to have lost a player.
Yeah, you know, it was just too much for even them to handle with how dominant they're being at the moment. It is, yeah, it's worrying the fact that it took some, like, the round that they managed to win was like a 2v2 clutch that, well, you almost feel like if Kaze doesn't miss his shot, it really could have gone in the other direction. We've seen some quieter performances, a real slowdown from the last map. Like, I think Dinko said it as well as us when it came to that match. If Cabal wasn't playing as well as he did, they would have lost. And he's not playing as well as he did. They're losing. It's worrying, and even like some of the calls from Tiger have not been bad ones. Like that 4-1 stack in the last round was spot on. They didn't rotate off. They didn't even get caught when they reaggressed. They just got raw entry fragged by ViCi, who are now looking phenomenal. Like we talk about Jam Young, we talk about Kaze. They're both playing well. 10-2, 7-3. Orman's someone that's a bit more hit and miss. He's currently 10-3 as well. And then it doesn't matter whether or not Advent and Zoking are performing. If all three of those players pop off, there's very little that many teams, maybe except Tyloo, can do about it. Now, the thing that I do question a little bit is whether they can keep up that level of momentum. But I think as well, the calling from ViCi so far has been spot on. Like, they've been very good at pulling off rotations, getting after plant positions without having to kill off too many players. And their Anticos have been very good as well. So as of right now, I'm yet to see too much of a blip on ViCi's radar. But that can all change. You know, we got some pistols in this round, Mitch. You never know. Maybe this will be the time they slip up.
Could be. I mean, last round they were versus pistols. I wouldn't even say their anti-eco was good necessarily. I would say they just happened to win it. Like, they did really well in the round. Oh, wow. Okay, that's a great opening by 9. The trade is there, though. NCL, did he push that smoke? Did they just get an opening duel because of a boost up and then have NCL push the... No, okay, it was just the radar, but he died in the corner still. They just swung on him and got the trade. On the radar, it looked like he was on the opposite side of the wall for a second to me, the way I glanced at it, and I thought he just ran around and I was going to lose it.
It's a nice shot from Cabal. Fortunately, Kaze is quicker. Dobu's now the only one left standing. Again, this rotation, it's coming, but it's a little bit late, but they're actually going to take some time to set up some smoke, so that might actually give an opportunity for the remaining players to actually get here in time, and they will do. The Urkers might get caught. That flashbang is superb, but it only gets one of the players. Even still, this is looking much better. This is looking workable, in fact, but they've spotted out 1 and 9 left alone. AWP would be something worth saving, that's for sure, but in a 1v2, there has to be a temptation to go for something here. There's another smoke. Even once this fades, they're just going to wreck him.
Yeah, just go and save at this point. 25 seconds, no kit. With an op as well, you got to get both kills in 10 seconds. It's not going to happen every time. And that weapon is far too valuable to give up for that kind of low percentage. I agree with the play, but it sucks that they can't get the round win after all that work. At least the op will be saved over. And we'll reach 8 for ViCi. They've won their T side already. And we talk about Tiger and poor CT sides when it comes to Inferno, and I think here you're seeing the perfect example of what we're talking about.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I think that's one of the things we have to talk about in Tiger as a whole, is that they don't have particularly good CT sides. I think their T sides a lot of the time can be buffed by some fantastic individual play by players like Urkist and, of course, Cabal. Whereas the CT sides, a lot of the time, it wasn't good in the last map either. In fact, both teams did better. Well, it seemed to do better on the T side. So they're going to have to do that once again, but I think they're going to need a fair bit more. The double orb setup has come back into play. Yet to be too impactful thus far, but it was something that worked for them fantastically well on train. Obviously, a completely different layout, dynamic. One that, well, we see commonly in comparison to what we have here. For now, though, a bit more of a standard default coming out from ViCi. It seems like in most rounds they've had a set plan, a set take. This time, though, just a bit more of a patient play. Flashbang going to be coming over, and Urkist, he's trying to stick around a little bit longer than we've seen previously. That's been one of the main issues of this B-site hold, is they have this 1-4, but so far, when any flashbangs have come over, they've just given up.
Oh, Urkast. All right. Full blind. Just taps on down before running away, and he gets Kaze. That's a valuable opening kill. In a round that matters more than any for Tiger, they need to get this on the board. They can't allow ViCi to run away with 9 or potentially 10 rounds off the back of it. And you're going to see Tiger tucking in towards this A site, head between their legs as ViCi gain control over long. That wide swing by NCL, there was no support there. They're out of utility at this point. It has to be the duels, and every single one seems to be going their way. Cabal and 9 picking up the frags. They push down them. They won't do any more. Oh, they still are. They're going in. They want to take that weapon out of his hands. He's able to evade them just about. But still, fantastic round by Tiger. They pick up an 8-3 scoreline. And it's time to now build all the way back up to 7. They can't afford to lose a single round.
Yeah, a bit of a looser one, it has to be said, from ViCi. I sort of mentioned at the beginning of the round that a lot of their other ones were fairly controlled. That one involved running through a smoke at the end. It's like they accidentally opened up the wrong strat book and read that one out of Tai Lu's. Fortunately, that strat book can only be read properly if you are a member of Tai Lu. Otherwise, I imagine it's sort of like the diary in Harry Potter with invisible ink. Like it's just their whole strat book's blank, and it's actually just that, you know, Dan King has a special pen.
Yeah, they're all about aggression over on Tai Lu. Practice as you mean to play, they say.
For ViCi, see a lot of control given up in these early stages. Banana and top mid have gone the way of ViCi. Sure, they've taken it with a few nades, but I want to see how Tiger are actually going to react to this, because the rounds where they've allowed ViCi to execute onto them are the ones that have gone very badly wrong.
Yeah. They need to pull something back, and they look at the space that's just being granted now. The CT split possible, that op of 9, he doesn't get a thing. He had a couple opportunities there, but he misses them. And now those B players are screwed. Oh, nice shot.
Oh, I love that. He was waiting for a fight, ducking, weaving, but they've gone in the other direction. Urkus is giving this a damn good go. NCL is going to be able to drop one. They've at least put this into a 2v3 situation. The spam coming through is still going to end up, again, with a decent position, and 9 lands the shot as 1 fades away. It's left all onto Zoking, and he's not going to be able to get anything done. A good resurgence again from Tiger. It's taken them some time, a bit longer, in fact, than what we saw on Train. But they have managed to get themselves another round victory. Of course, the money for ViCi is absolutely fine. They've still got plenty in the bank, especially with the bomb going down. But nonetheless, we're at least seeing a slight change in the wins, especially with how much control, as said. To win that round did rely on some pretty impressive plays. Like this shot from Urkus was sick. Like obviously, with the smoke going down, realistically, they could have just walked out Mitch. If he doesn't jump off the banister there, like that is all too easy for them to just get back in. But you know, it was still a nice shot.
So we've seen Tiger give up control pretty easily. It's only taken a few nades. And again, in this round, look, what, 2 flashes come up. There's a smoke as well, and they're gone. They're bailing. Leaving Banana control, which has been somewhere that we've seen them post up with that solo play by Urcast, for example. Given the ability to rotate into the A site, and although some of those rounds weren't successful even despite the info, this time they'll have the 2-man stack towards the B site, and CL catches Jam Young before the smoke even bloomed. He was crossing, hoping the flash would keep him safe, but he was wrong. And oh, we know the shot that Urcast is going to be going for. Not many more shots he'll go for from this position. He's trying to catch them going into dark. That no-scope, sadly, not going to hit. Really rolling the dice on that one. The idea here to wait for his teammates to push in together. He's just going to... Oh, he's missed the shot.
Well, time is ticking. They've got lots of utility, so no real excuse as to why they shouldn't get back into this round. Going to come down to some pretty impressive plays from the T side, and there are none of them. The retake king strikes again. Dobu with a double. Well, Orman, yeah, thank you very much. I'm going to keep my gun. And that will actually be enough to get them a buy in the next round. So it's the right decision. But yeah, that was really clean from Tiger. Holding onto utility for the after plant, making sure they get that opener once again. And they're grinding them out. They're getting through them. It's now, what, 3 in a row?
This is what it's all about, Tom, right? You just got to build those rounds up, as you said. 3 in a row now, I do believe. They were 8-2 down, now 8-5. They can't afford to lose these final rounds. As you said, ViCi can afford to get a buy in this one. And for Tiger, I like this aggressive stance they're taking. It's definitely gotten Zoking off guard, but Kaze, well, he was on bottom mid, ready to swing and take the kill. That's not a loss they can deal with. They're going to need to look to pull something back. They've rotated to the A site and the passive B hold. Well, it is passive. Dobu. He tried to transfer onto the smoke. Cabal's up close. They know he is, but he's gotten one through the smoke. That was nasty. They have no idea about Jam Young. And the trade just about comes through to keep this into a 1v2.
Round is an absolute mess. Oh, that's the stupidest play we've seen in a long time from anyone on Tiger. I have absolutely no idea why Cabal thought that was a good idea, and now it comes down to a 1 versus 1. You've given Kaze an opener, and I can't think of a worse thing you could possibly do in this server right now. The man is 12 kills. The only man above him, I believe, is Orman, and 9 has to try and put him down. He's not going to be able to. Cabal, fantastic to a point. 3 kills for him in the round. But ultimately, he's also the reason they lost it.
Gotta say, Cabal throwing better than Tom Brady on that one. That was ridiculous. Like, the logic behind pushing through that smoke, I think it's like that that internet sensation. The video that people have been doing where they just run. I don't know if you've seen it, Tom. They run and just jump into lockers. You seen that? Just do like a starfish and jump onto a wall. Which obviously hurts a lot. Just doesn't make a lot of sense. It's a bit random, but sometimes people do it, and that's what Cabal's just done. He's looking to be the new quarterback. Well, Tiger deserved to lose this map, and I hope they do after that one. As 9 on the board for ViCi, they're looking for double digits. We'll see if they can pull it off. They've lost the opening duel, though. It's never ideal. You want to be winning those, really. I can give you one tip as an aspiring professional team. You want to win the opening duels. I'd say just try kill your opponents.
Oh dear. This could be a problem. Are they going to expect NCL? Not really. He's only going to get 2, and there's not going to be a repeat from Urkus, thankfully. In fact, he's just going to throw down a smoke. Beautiful. That's exactly what we want to see.
Now run through it,
playing the advantage.
With your back turned.
Dobu is going to clean things up. 9-6. Still a very, very good half of ViCi, but at least a decent resurgence from the side of Tiger after what was, an 8-2 scoreline. Obviously, the slip up towards the end is what gifts a 9th over to ViCi. And now they go on to their CT side. Now, as we mentioned, Tiger have definitely looked better in a lot of maps on their T side, but this is still going to be an uphill battle.
Sorry, Tom. Tiger are going to beat Tyloo. If Dinko's watched that, actually, not the round we just saw, the one before, if he's watched that 2v1 and he still wants Tiger to make it to the grand finals, I feel bad for Dinko.
To be fair, he didn't necessarily say he wants, he just said he thinks, which, at this point, worse. Not far off.
Yeah, look, they played really well in the previous map. It's some shaky decision-making. I suppose Cabal's just got the confidence of the 30 kills in the previous map, but it is silly to let that take over. Kaze doesn't have enough ammo for this. I mean, he only can get one in that position.
That's not bad.
The fact that he got it is the lucky thing, really.
Lucky, or maybe he's just Kaze.
A lucky thing.
It's just I'm going with he's just Kaze as my option.
You're wrong.
The man does that regularly and seems to get a lot of success out of it. Now there is going to be rotation of a second player, still an advantage. Zoking's got the ultimate raid boss. He's been dropped some Julies. Last time I think we saw him do this was on Nuke, and he managed to get a double kill with it. So I am excited, but at the same time, very much ready to be disappointed, especially now that Jamyoung has been spotted. Now, he's seen his opponents. There are nades flying over, and no one from ViCi has rotated, not even made a step in this direction. That is a pretty bold play, especially when you don't have a kit. They're going to go through. That flashbang was fantastic. Advent trying to rotate in her because he's going to go through the other smoke as well. Oh, it's not pretty, but it gets the job done. And yeah, I've given a lot of credit to ViCi for their rotations, their setups, and their plays. That is not one of them. Because I can't imagine Jamyoung was doing anything less than screaming for help. And no one moved.
It's odd, isn't it? Like, I'm hearing a lot of noise on B. They're coming up. They flashed over. They just chilling. Respect it.
That flash from Urkus, though, to send the player through the smoke was so sick. I really like that as a play, because that's one of the things. If you play that in a 4 versus 3 situation, I don't have a lot of faith of you being able to win it, other than maybe on time. But the fact that they instantly turn it back into their favor, that was superb. Kaze, obviously, again, doing Kaze things. Probably shouldn't have even managed to get 2 in that situation, but, you know, this was the moment. Great flash, then they fight it together. Risky going through the edge of the smoke, but it was more to help out his teammates, and I'm not going to frown upon anybody for trying to work as a team. I think we've done the opposite for the majority of this tournament. And that's frown upon people for not working as a team, for anybody wondering.
Yeah.
Nice nade to start. Because got to be careful. There's a lot of players around Banana. In fact, 4 of them. Nade's going to go over the top in return, but they'll do too much damage. Ultimately, the CT side have gone for almost a complete gamble. This is something that I love to see. So what they've decided to do here is they've completely switched up the players that have utility. So initially, you had multiple players with HEs and a couple of smokes. So you switch up completely, and then you have new players that still have their smokes and can delay here instead. It's not something I think you see enough with utility investments, and it's going to make things a little bit awkward for Tiger no matter what direction they go in.
Well, they're going the wrong direction into 2 players stacked up on long, but they'll have a flash to come on through this smoke or afterwards to just swing around. They're definitely looking to stack up in it. There's the flash. What was the flash? Where did it go? They've flashed nothing. It's landed either behind. I don't think it was even behind them. I think that was above the roof. It's an atrocious flashbang.
Oh, the time. They got 15 seconds. There's still Orman. He's going to get one through the smoke as they go running. And now 10 seconds left. All they have to try and do is deny this plant. Orman is going to go down. Advent has managed to retrieve a Galil. He's going to try and make a play off of this while they're preoccupied. Kaze's gone down through the smoke, and now it's left onto Advent. 1v1 versus Dobu. This man always seems to be so strong in these clutch situations. Advent meant to be the mastermind of the team. Is he? Surely not.
10-second stick. That is the bravest play I think I've ever seen. I'll say brave. Yeah, well, let's go with brave. In what world does he not peek you for 10 seconds? I don't know.
I thought he was going to, like, bait it out or something, but, you know. Whatever. I guess it was a round that they were never really expecting to win. It did a hell of a lot of damage. Again, they played it very, very well. I think if Orman could have survived a little bit longer, then they win that. But, you know, I can't really expect too much after he already managed to get the kill. Again, we're going to see a stack on the B site. This is all about doing damage more than anything else. But Tiger, again, after a strong resurgence towards the end of the half, now going to be looking to get themselves back to level pegging.
That's Dinko's favorite. When teams are tied up, I mean, 9-9 or 10-10, because it makes for a tight game. He loves a bit of level pegging. It excites the game. There we go. The SMG's farming some money, getting some cash. It's only one for NCL. I like the push through the smoke by Alman. It's a brave play, not one that pays off tenfold, but at least the one kill comes in. And there you go. Dinko gets his level pegging in the end. As always.
Well then.
Not always. I suppose sometimes it's one-sided games.
Nine to 9. We are going to have a reinvestment now from the CT side. The first purchase we've seen for them on their side. And they did a relatively good job of keeping the economy honest of Tiger for now. Cabal going to keep his Mac 10 and look to try and make some extra cash. I like the elevated angle. Is it going to be expected? He's missed the timing a little bit, though, Kazi. Now he's got to be careful, because one of the more common plays in these sort of rounds is to go for more of an apartments burst. He's evidently aware of it. Jam Young is going to go crossing over to try and make this more of a crossfire. Orp shot hit, but legged. Jam Young holds the line at least for a moment. Zoking has found a trade elsewhere. Kazi! How's he managed to hit that shot? Even when it connected, it didn't even look like he was looking at him. Zoking over the top, though, potentially too risky a play, and Urkus has managed to find one elsewhere. It's left all onto Orman. He had a flying start to this game. I think he was 10-3. He's definitely slowed down a little bit, but this will be one hell of a clutch to win, one that his team desperately need. It's Urkus. Oh, that was the freebie. That was the one he should have taken. Now Molotov's going to be expended into the site. He doesn't have a kit, burning down to at least lower HP, but he connects the shot onto the first. Urkus going to try and catch him while reloading, and does just that. Again, close, but not quite enough for ViCi. And again, a peak that I kind of don't think was particularly necessary. Zoking's aggression turns it into, well, an advantageous position for Tiger. Now they're going to take the lead. And Urkus, he is having a much better performance. And the thing that should be scary if you're a ViCi fan is that this man normally performs better on the T side.
You know, it was close, but no cigar. Hey, well, Tom, do you know how to say that in French?
No.
Neither do I. So, on 10-9 position now for Tiger, you got a little bit of a smile on your face, right? Because that round looked like it was going to completely fall apart. You end up in that 4 versus 2. They get control over the pit, even with Urkas down there and the bomb planted. I didn't fully believe until it was the 2v1. And even then, there was a little bit of doubt sown by the final ViCi player. We're moving into this one, Tom. Things do look that little bit better for Tiger. They're showing up on the T side. They've got themselves a position now where they shouldn't really be threatened in this round all too heavily. There's just some pistols, an SMG, a scout. We talk about the impact Force Buys can have in a straight mid-rush coming down. Urkas gets one, actually 2, NCL, not even getting the reward for swinging wide on that SMG. And it's good control by ViCi. They need to do something with it, though.
Jamyung's just been completely dunked out of the round. A 3rd kill for Urkus. Had in those stats. I was worried a little bit about the scout, but then I realized it's Orman holding it and not Kaze. Advent, well, again, it comes down to them hoping to do a little bit of extra damage, but realistically, if he could retrieve a weapon, that would be great. There was a player dropped in the early stages of the round, but by the looks of it, all he's managed to find is an SMG.
Yeah, unfortunately, that is all he has to work with. The weapon that they lost on NCL was a Mac 10 as well, so nothing really to retrieve. Did ViCi keep this SMG in the next round even? Well, I'm guessing because he's not playing exits, but maybe he's just saving the Kevlar?
I wouldn't be surprised, in all honesty. Like, I think, especially if it's going to be Advent manning it, like, realistically, I don't think it makes a massive difference. And it can be some extra money that in the future goes into getting Kaze and Orp, which, well, that should always be the decision. Get Kaze and Orp. In fact, he's actually going to drop one for him in this round and let Kaze save up the extra cash. So, yeah, setting up their star performer. Again, this was something I mentioned early in the game, that we had Kaze, Orman, and Jamyoung all performing. And if that continues, then this will be an easy map for them. The problem is it hasn't continued. We've seen, in fact, all three players slow down to an extent. And now we talk about, well, Zoking and Advent both not putting up any numbers as being a real problem. And while after what was a stellar T side, a start of 8-2, we now see Tiger in the lead on what is their favored side of the map, and ViCi yet to show up to the party on the second half. They've got everything they need, except maybe a rifle on Advent. But I'm starting to really question how far this team can go in this map.
So one thing about Tiger, okay, they've made a couple of mistakes, but they've tightened it up ever since. It's the important thing. You can make those mistakes, you can have those hiccups, but at the end of the day, the thing that separates teams like Tiger from the teams that didn't make it to playoffs, even the likes of Beyond, is their inability, or is Tiger's ability to have that reset button and not continue to spiral and make individual plays that they just get punished for. This nade, oh, it could be beautiful, a little bit too late, but it still lands good damage, makes it easier for Advent to come in on the SMG and at least get one. That's all he's good for. A man disadvantage turned into two as Tiger run out of time. They've got to plant this bomb. They've got to get it stuck on down, and a wide swing takes down the planter. The lever cast in a 1v4 that he just has no chance in.
Yeah, maybe it's going to be Orman to return to prominence. And a good round from him. Bomb plant, of course, is still going to mean that the money is, well, pretty ludicrous, in fact, for Tiger, the lowest 4,500, and the majority over 7,500. So it's a 10th for ViCi at least. They're not out of this just yet. Well, in fact, they're on the CT side of Inferno. Like, if anything, we should be talking about favoring them, but it's not looked comfortable. It's not looked particularly pretty. And Tiger, in fact, after losing what is their first round in this second half, are actually going to take themselves a pause.
Yeah, I feel bad for anybody playing that solo B role up against the likes of a Tiger. They have this very explosive manner of execution. Obviously, just there we saw ViCi having that little bit of extra support there by the time the push comes in, and a really good hold due to the low time. But it can be tough if you're solo holding that site and a bunch of blokes come and just explode all over you. Obviously, Dinko loves that kind of strategy whenever he's looking at a T side, and I have to say I'm with it. I think it's a good strat, but if you're ViCi right now, I think it's going to make you a little bit afraid to have that solo player, because you're just going to end up getting rushed. And I did look at this 3-man stack early on. Evidently, they're feeling it too. They don't like Tiger's potential explosive strategies. The problem for me, Tom, is right. You got 3 blokes on B. That's not the traditional hold, is it? This is very, very passive. Usually, you're going to seize a bit of control so you can rotate A and go back to a standard setup. But instead, they're getting executed on the A site, and there's only 2 players here. What madness is this?
They're screwed. There's no way that they get away with this unless Jamyoung does something truly unreal. I don't like this setup.
Nice push.
One bit, he almost manages to hold on. Kaze also going to miss the shot, and well, that's pretty much the round over. They have to try and pull off some sort of miraculous retake. The only saving grace is the fact that they have utility, and
they're gonna go for this still. What are they doing? They're having some sort of campfire sing-song over on the B side at the start of the round. I don't get what I've just witnessed, Tom. Like, I do understand them going for heavier B presence, and okay, if you're gonna turtle with 3 players because you think they're gonna rush you, fair enough. But can you rotate when they don't, please? Or can you push banana? Instead, they just kind of go, no, let's just sit here as 3 and hope they don't push the A side like that. I'm lost for words, Tom. I don't get it.
Like, how's it? Oh, Jamyong, how's it going? Ah!
It doesn't make. I've never seen that setup at professional level Counter-Strike before. It's like they've taken aspects of actual strat. Let's go 3B. Oh, cool. Should we push banana?
Nah. We saw it in the pistol round as well, where it was just a solo player on one side of the map, and like they don't rotate until all of the smokes have fallen and Jamyong's got like a gun to his head. It's like, hey Jamyong, how's it going? I'm dead. I'm dead. Ah, we should probably come help you then, shouldn't we? It's like, yeah. It's a bit late. Ah, Zoking, please! Oh god. Well, Kaze got the kill in the end. Great trade.
I don't know what's going on anymore, honestly, Tom. I give up.
This is I think one of the worst performances we've seen from Zoking. Like the CT sides of both maps have been awful, but also now his T side of this map wasn't great either. Luckily, you did have that trifecta of death that managed to drag them through a couple of rounds, but it seems like the plays he's making are becoming more and more audacious. Like, even if you look at the way they held that 3-2 split, like normally if you have only 2 players on a site, you both play pit. He did not. I don't understand like anything about that setup, but we move on. We get into a new round, and well, this one, if we're being honest, is currently being won by ViCi. They've gone for the setup involving Kaze now maneuvering himself over to the other side of the map. Boo's going to come up. He lands the shot, but the damage done onto him is far worse, and they might only expect one player to be here. I think that's the bait that they're going for, is, okay, they'll see Kaze, they'll see the AWP. He doesn't normally play here. They're going to assume that there's only one player on this side. So Advent, he has to do something here. Now, Kaze, he's landed the initial shot. They're going to check for him still, although only one player did. And Orman, again, is actually going to get one through the edge of the smoke. There's 15 seconds. The plant's going to be faked, but not faked too well as the bullets come flying through the smoke. And now looking to play this one together. Great flashbang coming out from Jamyong, the man of many talents. And while ViCi are going to manage to get through this round, I think that's the best way to put it. They got through it in the end.
Just about. The money is fantastic for the CD side, actually. They've built up quite a bit, certainly on Kaze. He's able to drop over no problem and still have plenty reserve. Same can pretty much be said for Tiger, though. And ViCi run into a full buy this round, possibly next as well. We're seeing Tiger start to experiment a little bit, try to find their feet, figure out what they can do to combat ViCi. And this time they're going to push banana with 2 players. ViCi really confused me. It's a nice nade, a little bit of damage, a little bit of a tickle to Urcast. He's giggling to himself on the bottom of banana. They've come for an aggressive stance. The smoke that's gone to Kara has pushed them out of banana, and they completely leave it. I don't get this team. I don't get what they're doing. A lot of the time, it's like they come in with the intention of holding aggressive banana control, one smoke, and they just run back to site, like hightail it. And they're going to play for very slow rotations. I do like Jamyong. This is something we haven't seen, like Flying, for example, be able to do, which is avoid those nades in towards the pit. And he occupies the position now that it's already been double naded, so he knows he's pretty safe.
I'm pretty sure there was like 4 nades. I think the whole squad tried to nade. There were a lot of nades because they threw one from apartments, and then a couple I think came from
2 short minimum. Yeah.
Short as well. So yeah, I think there was a lot of nades thrown into that corner, and he just watched them all fly past. So and he knows that there's no way they can have any more. They have a couple of Molotovs. And he doesn't have a smoke, so he might actually fall to the initial way that that's normally cleared. Zoking, though, he's finally awoken. A double opener for them in this round. Going to be sat on the site. 20 seconds left for the Tees to try and make a move. He eventually falls, but they have not cleared Jamyong. He is still at the back of the site. Kaze in a crossfire with him. And a much, much better round from ViCi. They delay, they hold on. More importantly, in Zoking's case, he hits his shots. and that's enough for them to equalize this scoreline. It hasn't felt like a good CT half from them after what was a strong first, but we've already seen both teams do this now, where they slowly rise into the map.
Yeah, I think when you look at the likes of ViCi on this CT side, we don't expect them to be terrible. We did say Tiger performed far better. Excuse me, far better when it comes over towards the T side. However, they haven't been able to deliver quite enough as of yet. They got that little bit of a lead, but it's been pulled back, and now they're on pistols. Presumably a much faster strategy. Look at the utility they've brought up alongside these pistols, Tom. Smokes, mollies, flashes, they've got everything. It's quite surprising, to be honest. I didn't expect this form of investment from them.
Let's see if they can make this one work. It's, again, a very passive hold. The initial smoke going to go down to try and delay them. Warman just looking to try and play anti-flash. Play anti-flash on top of the coffins, in fact. Use spam bullets going through, but it means he's probably going to have none left in the clip, and this leaves Advent with a pretty tough task holding on the site. Sat back in the corner. Orman is going to find one. Actually threw the smoke again. Advent, okay. This is not what we normally see from the IGL. And while 9 is going to try his best to hold on, but with 8 HP, about 30 seconds on the clock, he can hope to maybe take one more down. It's not going to happen. Great hold from the B site players. Advent in particular doing a fantastic job. And ViCi, they've got the lead back.
That they do, Tom. They've got plenty of cash as well. Look at that, 9K on a lot of these players. I feel like ViCi, their passive approach is working out. They were just up against the pistols in this round, though. I do want to see how they adapt. The rifle's in play. It can be a different ball game. Like, I'm worried again, Tom. Can you see why I'm worried? Okay. Oh, they're rotating. They're rotating the player off me. Yay! They early 3-man stacked it, and they realized, okay, we need to go and hold long. They sent Kaze all the way around. This is the right choice. I'm glad they're finally making it and not allowing themselves to have a 2-man A stack for literally no reason.
Oh, I thought that nade was going to do a lot more. That's a bit disappointing. Now, they are going to be setting up Advent on the boost. Consistently, again, we see them switching up their CT side. Don't like this angle. Okay. Okay. That was pretty clean. You normally only ever see players actually boosted up onto that angle, so that was cool. I like that from Orman. He can do it all on his own. He don't need no man to support him.
It could be the first time I've seen someone actually do that.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen that before. I'm sure there'll be someone on Reddit like, I went down to 17 times. But I don't care. I care about me. NCL. He's going to find the opener. Orman at the back of the site. He's having a great game. And that is a couple of impact kills that might have just changed the round. Utility now looking fairly bare as Kaze comes rotating in. There is a Molotov. If I was going to place that anywhere, probably there. Okay, 9. This is very aggressive. He's been spotted as well, and Jam Young doesn't like to be pushed. Kaze is going to pick off another, and Kaze gets the second. An aggressive play attempted, completely failed, and ViCi are going to get their 14th.
Yeah, they came to play, and they're not messing about. It's a big feels bad, really, if you're here as a Tiger fan. After all those rounds they got, they pulled themselves right back into the game after their terrible first half, and here they are. Getting completely and utterly wrecked. You know, even with a round like that, they push into the B site, they get controlled, they get a plant. It ends up with 3 players alive for the ViCi side, which is just unacceptable. It's too many. And at this point, coming back into it it's not just about the amount of rounds they're down. It's about the fact that they're not going to win a round and have an eco afterwards. In fact, ViCi can buy for another 2 rounds after this. before we see any sort of impact onto their economy. And that's a scary thought, Tom, considering they're 14-12. And even one round at this point means that overtime is the best hope for Tiger. And if not, they'd be going over to a third map where we all agreed that that's where ViCi would look favored to take it across the line. Oh, what's happening there, boys?
Now, Zoking's done that multiple times, granted, not unsuccessfully, but you have to be ready for those sort of plays, and you don't want this man gaining more confidence. Like, he already plays like a madman, even when he's playing poorly. Now he's got a double open up. Things are only going to be getting worse. Dobu and 9, they're looking. They're checking every angle. They're hoping to find a wild Zoking. Unfortunately, he has now fallen back. He's gone back home. This is going to leave 9 trying to make a play into banana. I'm not even sure what the plan is here. One man is on banana. The other man is all the way up short. That is a great shot from Dobu.
It's a
But
good
this is
start.
something I've noticed in a sense of, like, I feel like ViCi on their T side were a lot more decisive. Even in rounds like this where it seems like it's lost, a lot of the time you see more hesitation out from the side of Tiger. And while that was clinical, what a great round from Zoking as well. As I said, he was having one of the worst games we've seen from him, but just like in the last map, right towards the end, he started to come back.
Yeah, I feel like in a lot of these rounds, we're seeing ViCi really turn up individually, which is something different to what we've seen certainly coming into train. But Tiger, man, they've got to feel flat. They've got 3 rounds in a row to win to get back into this one, or they will be going to map 3. And with it being Nuke, okay, you can sit back and say, well, Tiger beat ViCi last time they played there, but doing that twice is going to be tough. They've already done it, obviously. Just on Inferno before this one. I know that this is Inferno. What am I talking about?
Train.
Train. That's the one. Too early in the morning for me.
Well, also not as cleanly as they did last time as well. That's the one thing. Is like last time I think it was a 16-11. This time they scraped a 16-14 off of what I would say is more mistakes coming out from ViCi than obviously like Tiger played well, but I think that it should have been a ViCi map to take. Now they look strong on their second one, and Nuke, arguably their best map, is coming up as a third. They did very, very well in this veto. Let's just put it that way. Now, it's strong maps for both teams. I don't think it would be clear-cut either way, but you have to then favor ViCi going into the third and final. And, well, they don't really want that. This was the one that was a bit up in the air. This was the one, if anything, we kind of favored Tiger a little bit, but, well, 40 seconds left to make their move. 2 players still on banana. The rotation going to come back in towards this A site. Jamyoung's been good. Zoking's been making a comeback. And Kaze a little bit far out of the action. He's just holding to make sure they can't come through Arch. Now, the last time they attempted something through the apartments, it didn't go too well. They haven't been the best at clearing out Jamyoung. They have a few HEs. Zoking, why? Why is that the decision you've made? He starts to cross onto the site in the last 10 seconds. Hands his life away. Jamyoung, though, again, he's given a good chance in this round. The bomb will go down with a second to spare. You have to feel, though, if Zoking doesn't move there, that is done. That's an easy round. I guess he made a gamble. 9 has already picked off one more. The nade over the top is not going to do enough. And the Molotov holding them back. They might as well go for this. They've got the money to play with. The time is ticking away. Oh, Advent, I think he's realized that even though they've got money to waste, he might as well just try and hold for the exits, try and kill somebody off as they try and leave. NCL is going to fall. Well, the nade's not going to do anything to Kaze. It is going to be 15-13. I am bewildered as to that decision.
Zoking is just playing brain dead, I think, is the way we're going with this one. That was ridiculously stupid. Like, what is the logic behind crossing the site? I don't know. I do not know. But for Tiger, It's a godsend. I gotta say, I hope after this game someone slaps Cabal on the head for that that 2v1
still annoyed
that he
about
threw.
that.
Of course I'm still annoyed about it. They'd have the game by now. It could be 15-13 to them if he didn't just rush through a smoke in the 2v1.
You could say the same about that round, though, from Zoking. They could have closed the map.
Yeah, oh, 100%. 100%.
But they would have. I don't want to say could have. They would have. There was 5 seconds on the clock when they got that, or 4, if anything, when they got that bomb down. Thanks to Jam Young. If he had a teammate with him, that was over.
It's like he's jumped on a grenade for his team, but he's the one that not only threw the grenade, but he made the grenade. He knew exactly what it was and how it worked. He pulled the pin and he dropped it on the floor and went, "Oh no," and then jumped on it. And everyone was like, "Well, why did you do, like, thank you, but why?" You know?
He's not going to answer. He's
exactly
dead. And a smoke's gone down, which has delayed any sort of push. Orman, he's been pretty good, but this is still going to be a relatively tough hold. The spam through does some decent damage, and Advent! This is the last thing I was expecting going into this round. He's just got a triple spray down. The IGL steps up huge. He's still got life in those older limbs. And well, Cass, 1v3, 29 seconds, bomb on the ground. He's wary of a flank, but the fact is Kaze is just waiting, looking to hold him in as they look to, well, go one better than their opponents on the previous map. Urkus eventually going to have to try and go for a plant. He's hoping he can bait someone through the smoke, but they're just waiting patiently. The shot actually lands onto Zoking, and thankfully, even he can't lose this round. ViCi will take it 16-13, a stellar T side and a shaky defense, but they get the job done. And now they go into what has been their home turf for quite a while now of Nuke. I know that we've got Blair and Dinko alongside us.